not every method of seeking knowledge is equal in weight. Okay? The best kind of seeking knowledge is where you have a private sitting with a teacher or a small group. You read the book to the teacher and you make notes on the book from the teacher. This is the best kind. Followed by public classes. Followed by distance learning. Followed by video. Followed by audio. Followed by books. So we started with private sittings or small groups with the teacher. Can you get it? Yeah, sure you can. You just have to push people and ask people. And especially when the teacher sees you've got energy. Sheikh, I've been told that I have to memorize the 40 hadith of Imam al-Nawawi. Is it okay if I can come and read them to you and you can give me a short explanation, and I've got 5 or 6 other brothers who want to come as well? People feel energy. You know, when you see a student like that, you want to do it for them. You're like, okay, I mean, maybe someone might say, I don't have time, but this other brother is doing it. You know, people want to do it. They want to help people out. But when someone comes and says, just, you know, I just want to learn something about Islam, I need to get knowledge, I want to go and study abroad, you have less energy to help them because you see that they are not putting as much work in from their side. If you can't get that private sitting, which is true many times, the person will say, I'm too busy. See how many of those books can you get in public classes, where you have a class here, a class there. Now people at this point are going to say it's hard. It is hard. You're going to have to give up your time. You're going to have to travel sometimes some distance to get it. You might have to sit in an uncomfortable masjid or on a floor for, you know, an hour or 2 hours. But there's a very famous saying from the scholars of old, which goes that knowledge is not gained by resting your body. You don't gain knowledge by feeling comfortable, and you have to be a little bit uncomfortable. You have to work a little bit hard. You can't get it in a class. Is it possible to get it? Distance learning. Distance learning meaning you are a student in a class, but you're not physically there. You're attending the class live online or something like that. If it's not possible, is it possible for you to watch a video? Why do I say that a video is better? Why do I say that a video is better than audio? Because a video is as close to being in a class as you can be. You feel like you're in the class, right? You see the teacher and you really feel like you're there. Then audio, and finally, reading a book. Reading a book is bottom of the list. You'll still have to do it sometimes, but it's bottom of the list when it comes to reading a book. If you get your knowledge from reading a book, it's very important that you make notes of questions of things you didn't understand, because it's much easier to misunderstand a book than it is to misunderstand a teacher. Because the teacher says things again and again and looks at your eyes, do you understand what I'm saying? And repeats and, you know, and kind of sees everyone following me and answers questions at the end. But with a book, you don't get any of that. So it's really important when you learn from a book that you write a list of questions and you take that list to your teacher and you say to your teacher, I've been through this book and I came across this statement on this page. Could you explain it to me? I feel like I didn't understand. And so on. And like this, with a lot of dedication and a lot of hard work, you start to build up your knowledge in Islam. And you build it up to such a level where you can begin to delve into the bigger books. See, right now, everything we're talking about are still, even though we're talking about beginner, intermediate, advanced, they're still fairly small books. I mean, we said, you know, Bulugh al-Maram, and we said Al-Lu'lu' wal-Marjan. They're still, you know, they're books you can hold in your hand. They're just one volume. But later on, you start going into books that are of many volumes, that contain many difficult issues and so on. And again, ideally reading to a teacher. But if you can't read to a teacher, then, you know, you do your best with what you can. Added to that is the traditional Islamic system of ijazat, getting an ijazah in something, which is where you feel you've studied a book to a certain level. You go to a teacher, you study from the teacher, and at the end, the teacher gives you a permission in that book. What we call an ijazah, gives you like a letter or a document which says that you have the permission, sometimes it's verbal, that you have the permission to teach this book, or that you have understood this book properly. And even if you're not studying in a formal Islamic institution, you can gather these from different teachers, and you can develop, sort of like a little portfolio or a personal record of knowledge. Bearing in mind what I said the first time about implementing, how implementing knowledge is the most important thing. It's the most important thing. And so going like this, that is how you develop detailed understanding in Islam.